I forgot to mention in the previous video that I was kind of hoping Estonia and Slovenia. Long story, Estonia had always sent in Laura whenever they were in Ukraine, as part of a group usually, and Slovenia has always sent in Omar Nabed. And wouldn't it be funny if they made it to Liverpool despite us not ending up in Ukraine? Now watch me make Rhode Island dance. Hello, this is J.E. Realize, and welcome to Britain. For 1 year, I had to wait. And now, well, it started. The first semi-final started on May the 9th, 2023. But I was thinking about how best to watch the songs that were going to compete in this year's Eurovision Song Contest before this year's Eurovision Song Contest. There is one crazy idea I had, and that is to watch the jury semifinals. Whoa, J.E. Realize, you might be thinking, the EBU doesn't want you watching those jury shows. Therefore, the jury's only. Yes, it's true. They're not meant to be accessed by the public. However, some sneaky little bit of a always seems to put these jury semifinals up on some sort of foreign video sharing website for people to watch. I don't know. And I thought, I tried worse. So I tried looking, but I honestly had no idea what I was looking for. It's certainly not visible through any of the search engines I tried. Must be a dark web thing. I'm not messing with the dark web. But yeah, let's move on to the first semi-final. And wow, we start off with this kid, you know, in the promotional video, watching the contest, being real interested in the contest. But, you know, UK doesn't do particularly well, except Ukraine bowed out, or rather they were pushed away from hosting in 2023. And the UK ended up hosting, and then the hosting honor went to Liverpool. A little kid lives in Liverpool, so he goes telling everyone he can about the contest, and the entire city prepares. And that's really cool. We also have a Ukrainian, and for our first shot of the arena, wait, what about that arena? I got to see a little bit of it, and there's a lot of circles in that aesthetic, let me tell you. It might be reminiscent of the EBU, or it might be reminiscent of, you know, the UK's previous stages, like that swirly, loopy, curvy stage they did in 1998. Or, here's a crazy idea, their stage from Eurovision 1968. They almost have a front circle stage like they did in 1968, except it's real suspended. They have a walkway leading out to a circle. Not many parallels, I admit, but it's kind of a cool idea, I'll give you that much. They also have these rotating LED pillars, not just pivoting. They can rotate. The other side has strobe lights and all this sort of stuff. Really cool. And we got an audience out there in the middle of the arena, standing audience. Wait, what? You mean to tell me that the green room's not in the middle of the arena? I kind of like that strategy. You don't have to deal so much with COVID outbreaks or stage invaders. It's just gone. I'm gonna miss that idea, I really am. Anyway, this opening song number sort of thing regarding these two kids, Liverpool and Ukrainian, and just break through the window or whatever to both be there at the same time. Just Ukrainian escaping to Liverpool and just enjoying the sights. And then we have our three hosts. There's this opening number they perform. One of them is Ukrainian and the other two are from the BBC. You know, that sort of stuff. Well, maybe the Ukrainians from the BBC. I don't keep track of this sort of stuff. It's not like I've seen them before as Eurovision performers, unlike with Etcilia from 2021. But yeah, we get this customary introduction, 15 countries competing this year. There are only 37 countries competing total, as I alluded to. And also, for the first time ever, we are going to have a worldwide televote. I'll get into that. Plus, all the voting for the semifinals is televote based. I'm going to get into why that may be a problem as we go along. You will see. But yeah, we introduce the acts and we are getting right started. First up on the bat is Norway with Alessandra and her song Queen of Kings. And the postcards are rather interesting. They focus on this one thing, this one common thing. They focus on the one common thing as it is in Ukraine, an equivalent instance of it in the United Kingdom, and then a third instance of it in the country representing the upcoming song. Interesting story about Queen of Kings before we start. 2 months ago, I was over visiting a voice actor panel, and she said, ask any question you can, just any question, even what my favorite fish is, that sort of stuff. And I kind of wanted to do it because, you know, I wanted to try to conquer this fear, this lack of self-confidence in me. But I let some kids go ahead in front of me, and then when the line was clear again, I went up and asked, have you heard of the Eurovision Song Contest? And she said yeah, and when I went in what was her favorite song, she said Queen of Kings, and I honestly had no idea what I was talking about. Basically, I thought it had to be a Eurovision 2023 song. I hadn't listened to those Eurovision 2023 songs. We had some chats about Eurovision and song contests and that sort of thing. It's really funny that she and I got into this discussion about Eurovision while everyone else had no idea what we're talking about. You might think that's something to be ashamed of, but I honestly find it real funny. And I hope you learned something, Fresno, from that. Fun fact, Hannah, the Slovenian representative for 2013, was born in Fresno. Yes, that Fresno. Ask me where she plays. And we start ourselves off with the first act of the year. And looks like the costume designer was watching too much Power Rangers. It's kind of mixed Rita Repulsa with Diva Talks or something, I don't know. Kind of odd. Kind of cool, but kind of odd. And then we get this number. I like it. It's a bit of a folk with some electronic thump to it at times. I do find it a bit too whimsical at some point, like music gives a little too much of a cheery flourish. But overall, it's fine. It's not the worst song out there. But let's move on to the second song from Malta, The Busker with Dance, Our Own Party. And, yeah. I mean, they got a little bit of a Scott Pilgrim versus the World pixel art with the Act 1, Act 2, Act 3 thing going on. But when we started the first chorus, you got all these standees of famous Eurovision participants from Malta that one of the singers is standing next to. You know, Chiara, Destiny, Ira Lasco, Fabio Faniello, all of them. And Glenn Vella, for some reason. I mean, if you put Mikola there, I don't know. Honestly, the song is, it's kind of dull. I'm largely unimpressed. For Norway, the secrecy level was 3 out of 10 because I've heard of Queen of Kings and I've heard of Alexandra. The only thing I hadn't really heard was the song at that point. And Malta, there's no secret worth keeping. It's 10 out of 10. Next up is Serbia with the song Samo mi se spava by Luke Black. And I got to admit, just this dark, brooding beat is really intriguing. I find it real fascinating. And kind of feels like a JRPG at times. Except, ironically, for the fight scene. Yes, there's a fight scene. It's not your standard typical fight scene for something. It's just unplugging stuff. And it's real funny how the energy bar, the health bar goes down. It doesn't, go down like a video game health bar. Like how would you... this looks more like it would fit in the... there was this show from, I think it was Venezuela, called Guerra de los Sexos, Battle of the Sexes. That's the translation, where you had these people running through challenges. The winner gets cash prize, and if they win really big, they can walk away with a car with 0 kilometers on the odometer. It's complicated. It feels like it was so close to being a real nice, like, full package song, but then that's kind of goofy. But I like it. Secrecy level 10 out of 10. Latvia sends in Sudden Lights with their song Aya, or something like that. And I find the whole time measures thing certainly a bit weird. What was that, a 5/4 time measure or something? It's off-putting. And then the chorus uses a standard time measure? I don't know. It's an odd experimental take on a admittedly rather generic song. I mean, I don't see much hope for Latvia here, or at least I didn't at first. We'll get into that. Secrecy level 10 out of 10, another non-starter. Then we have Portugal, 5th up, with Ai Coração by Mimicat. Where have I heard that name before? It's not enough to bump down the secrecy level, but I feel like she may have been present in a Festival da Canção national final at some point. I don't know. But honestly, I'm not too jazzed about this. You've got this... It feels like Femme Fatale, the Cypriot 2008 entry. Plus, they seem to have taken some other Portuguese songs that were known for not making it out of the semis and just pushed it into that formula. Honestly, I'm not pleased. I thought Portugal was finally taking the contest seriously, and now they pull this stunt! Festival da Canção, I get it. It's Portugal's own song festival. They have their own heritage. But they didn't use that contest in 2013 or 2016 to promote Portuguese music because, they weren't competing in Eurovision those years. It just seems so odd. Like, that excuse of, we're competing for ourselves and not for Eurovision is kind of paper thin when you look at it like that. Especially, Hungary is still running Adal 4 years into their non-participation in Eurovision, and they sent a pretty sweet song for their 2023 edition. It's almost as good as their 2020 song. Shots fired. Secrecy level 10 out of 10. Next we have Ireland. We have the song We Are One. 10th anniversary of the Malmö Eurovision Song Contest back in 2013. Also, it's performed by Wild Youth. But the problem I have with this is it's just so overly generic a song. It's just another Irish also ran. It's nice, it's sweet, but it's forgettable. And I'm pretty sure Iceland in 2014 had a song with the same message, but they at least managed to jazz it up to make it a little bit more exciting. This is just not much. Secrecy level 10 out of 10, and honestly, another secret that is not worth. Now we move on to Croatia. It's a group called Let 3 or something like that, and the song Mamascha. No, I did not sneeze, Mr. Germany. It's called Mamascha. And this song, I knew that when the EBU set up the 100% televote rule in the semifinal, that everything was going to go to 2008 in the handbasket, I didn't think it would happen the same damn year! In fact, it just so barely misses the 2008 Formula by Air. It feels a lot like Serbia's 2009 entry in some ways. It feels so super non-serious. From what I gather, it's a song about a tractor, and maybe there is some foreign language allegory I don't get about Ukrainians towing away Russian tanks because they ran out of fuel and bailed. I don't know. I mean, there's a bad guy with missiles or something. But yeah, this, and I would say Portugal's song, doesn't give me the most confidence that the EBU knows what they're doing with this. As I said, people are going to be split if you have two different voting systems that they have to push through. Should they focus on just qualifying off the 100% televote and making it to the final? Or should they focus on having a song that would do really well in the final if it can somehow get the good grace of the 100% televote semifinal? And we are about to see that showdown. You gotta have consistency, EBU, otherwise, you're gonna have... I don't know how else to say it. You're going to have these entries who are just sending off mixed messages just for the hope of getting somewhere. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Having 100% televote, while normal, has flaws. I really don't like much the televote or the jury voting, but I'm willing to put up with the 50-50 split voting compromise, as I figure the two will probably cancel most of the negatives out, leaving the positives. But yeah, if this song makes it through to the final, I'm going to be face-palming so hard that my brain is going to end up in Liverpool. I'm going to get first-class flight on an SR-71 Blackbird. Goodness sake. Another example of the failure of the 100% televote system is we have Switzerland with Remo Forger. Wait, Remo Forer. You missed a perfect chance to have a Spy X Family reference. It's gone. But yeah, this guy is a knockoff Grand Kanoki. It's an insult to Grand Kanoki. The Grand Kanoki knows how to write a song, knows how to perform a song. This song really feels like the Swiss try to get some idea of what makes that tick, and also make it somewhat about politics with the song Water Gun. And I am not entirely sure. It's an okay song. I kind of like the song. But without a jury, it has no chance of getting out. Even if it only has to fight against 14 other acts, it really doesn't have much of a chance. I'm sorry about that. Oh, by the way, Croatia's secrecy level was 11 out of 10, because how could I have seen that coming? Switzerland's song, secrecy level 10 out of 10. If I mentioned Ireland's, it was also 10 out of 10. I think at this point, Switzerland should just pull out of Eurovision in protest. I don't see any other logical way for Switzerland to handle this. Their golden age has been killed by the EBU. They were doing so really well from 2019 onward, and then the EBU just shoots them in the back. And yeah, at that point, you just can't take the EBU shenanigans anymore. And I would understand if Switzerland just straight up quit. Number 9 is Unicorn by Noah Kirel of Israel. I told you I know who she is. And she's here. And she's kind of underwhelming. I mean, the song is real solid. It's real good. But honestly, it's a waste on Noah Kirel. She deserves a much better song, particularly since there was this bit with the dance number, and I feel like it was for a moment, kind of a different song. Not really the best mashup of the two sides of the song, and it's kind of a letdown. It's still a good song, but I expect a lot better to give to Noah Kirel. It's just a shame that Israel had a big chance to win big or place big, and it just didn't really work out for them. And instead they're copying Spain 2022, yada yada. The dance number was fine though. Secrecy level 5 out of 10, because while it was rumored that Noah Kirel would be in the contest, and there was some confirmation that Khan issued before they retracted it, well, it wasn't confirmed before the September 1st hibernation that I go through every year. Next up is Moldova, sending in Soarele și Luna by Pasta Parfeni. It's nice, it's uniquely ethnic, but it's going to take a bit of a learning curve for me to love it. But I'm trying, and it's doing well. Not much I can say beyond that. Secrecy level 10 out of 10. Yeah. Next up, we got Tattoo by Sweden. Secrecy level 0 out of 10, remember? And yeah, it feels like this song, they took the essence of Euphoria. Not the song Euphoria, but the essence around it. And took the essence of I'm In It With You, another Lorraine song, and never competed in any song contest, and just put them together to create Tattoo. And while Hold Me Closer was about Cornelia and Caleb, from which I would say that this song was about Luz Noceda and Amity Blight, if it weren't for the fact that apparently Luz just moved to the magical world at the end of it like it's Wizard of Oz. I would joke that she has a crush on Sarah Alto, but I think Lorraine's already taken probably, and I know Sarah Alto's taken. But that would be just funny, hilarious fan fiction. Just someone draw up Luz Noceda dressed as Lorraine and Amity Blight dressed up as Sarah Alto, and ask me for the mailing address once you're done. And I would say it's still a good song, and in fact, solid contender for top 3, definitely in this semifinal so far. But I still feel like it could be more. I don't know. I guess let's move on to the next song while I mull it over. We get Azerbaijan up next with Toral Taranx. I don't know. Toral Taran 10? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they were named that, given how many times we got participants with X's that are pronounced 10s with the song Tell Me More. And I like it. It's British contemporary. Not You're Not Alone. This makes an honest attempt at British contemporary, and it goes down smooth, like a Mellow Yellow. No, that's a stupid thing to say. What are you comparing it to Mellow Yellow? It's just nice to listen to. It's nothing particularly innovative, but honestly, it's sorely lacking in the history of Eurovision, this kind of song. Secrecy level 9.8 out of 10, because something tells me I've heard of something like this. Next up is the Czech Republic. Wait, they're called Czechia now? They're called Czechia now! I mean, they have shortened their name to Czechia in informal conversations years ago. But this is the first time that they did so for Eurovision. Slovakia had been doing it since they were first in Eurovision. Heck, Slovakia had been doing it since Mill Street. Their full name is the Slovak Republic, just like how France's full name is the French Republic. Anyway, the song is called My Sister's Crown. It's by Vesna. I barely get it, and honestly, the whole thing about the TikTok VHS camera angle stuff on the LED thing, it creeps me out. But I find it rather enjoyable. And I was going to say the Czech Republic was going to file a complaint with the EBU about the 100% televote thing in semifinals. But I think they don't have to. I think they just decided to move on to, having songs that appeal largely to the televote. Probably a bad thing, but it's fine. Secrecy level 9.9 out of 10. Again, I feel this whole thing is familiar. Next, we have Netherlands. And they decided to send in, this duet ballad sort of thing. And while it doesn't do much, it's definitely inoffensive. It's real sweet. I have to say, I did not expect to like the Dutch entry so much, given what it is. It probably tells you something about the semifinal one. Maybe semifinal 2 will be the group of death again. But for now, secrecy level 10 out of 10. It is good. It is solid. And remember, secrecy levels have nothing to do with, how good they are. It's basically how much I have heard of anything regarding the act or the song before watching it, with the maximum score being I had no idea they won the contest, and 0 meaning yes, I knew you would not shut up about it. That leaves us with song number 15. By the way, secrecy level on this one is 2.5 out of 10, because again, this was a song that people would not shut up about. It's Finland, Karia, or whatever his name is, and the song Cha Cha. When I first heard of the name of the song, I thought it was gonna get, a Latin beat from Finland. How bizarre. I didn't expect the nightmare that came before me. And this is different from the Croatian nightmare or, anything else like that. This was real, engaging. This was manic. This was just fueled mania. The beginning starts with a crate. I was reading this story by Roy D. Hacksaw called Worst Eurovision Ever. And one of the acts competing in that made-up Eurovision, the Slovenian act, was a group called Crate. They were singing in the song Eurovision, Eurovision, Eurovision. And, well, they all performed in a crate. You could barely see them. And then the entire performance just continues and continues. And then it ends. And they never get out of the crate. This guy does get out of the crate. Credit for that. This guy, first off, he's got ridiculously puffed up green arm jackets, kind of like what Finland's been using in 2009, except, looks like the kind of thing you would wear in winter. Finland only need to worry about... this is the jacket you would wear if you only need to worry about your arms keeping themselves warm and not your chest. Okay, good, solid. And I gotta say, it's hard to describe in words. This is the sort of song that you would have to watch for yourself. But it's in one certain style for the good first half of the song. And then it just transitions into this different thing. It goes from being, Nightmare in the Dark, to just colorful Eurovision party without losing a beat from Nightmare in the Dark. I gotta give credit, and I can see why Chris West really likes this song. By the way, I still need to talk to Chris West about that book. I'm having trouble. I'm looking on all the book websites, and they can only give me the 2020 edition. I want the current edition. Chris West says the current edition is out now. I don't know. He says it on the blog. It's not a confidential correspondence sort of thing. He says it's available. Oh well. The day after this semifinal, he'll do his whole Waterstones Liverpool book thing, along with William Lee Adams in his book. Maybe I'll ask Waterstones then, if I can somehow make an international call. It's stupid. That is so irredeemably stupid. But yeah, now on to song number 16. Psych! As I said, only 37 songs in this contest. Boo! I mean, North Macedonia, Montenegro, Bulgaria pulled out. Hungary had selected a song, you know what? Just to cover some time, let's talk about Hungary's song. It's by a group called Titan. I forgot what the pronunciation for their song is, but it translates to Midnight Flight. And, you know, it's a real nice set the mood kind of song. It's got a backdrop being on a bridge or something. It's a nice, smooth, like, rock-ish. It's not rock. It's, you know, just a rock beat behind it. But besides that, it's not bad. Honestly, if Hungary was in the contest, I think they would make my top 10. And pretty handily, too. I mean, I can say a lot of bad stuff about Hungary, but I'll give them credit where credit's due for still running Adal. Good work. I hope I did not say something really bad here. Next up with that, we move on to the voting. As I said, 100% televote. It's all on you. Longevity is gonna tank. And for the first time, I could vote. Could being the key word. I looked through the phone. Like, the moment I popped up the Eurovision app, I hadn't used it in years, but I had it installed anew a few days ago. And the moment I logged in, they said, hey, we noticed that you were in Rest of the World. Would you like to vote as Rest of the World? And apparently the Rest of the World logo is the United Nations logo. It's not this... OGAE and Wikipedia, I guess, have their own symbolic flag for Rest of the World. It's this conceptual flag where you have the sun taking on the left edge. It's so big it wouldn't fit. And then the earth taking up a substantial part of the right side, and then the moon beside it. That was the Rest of the World flag for a long time. But no, probably due to copyright issues, we're going with the UN flag. But wouldn't that also have copyright issues? Why doesn't UNESCO adopt the song contest? I'm trying to write a story in which UNESCO adopts the song contest. But let's move on. The less I say about my potential ideas, the better. I was about to vote, but then it says, oh, we're going to charge you 99 euro cents for each vote, up to 20. And then I just kind of put the phone down. Now, I could say it was down to protest for having this international vote contest, which defeats the purpose of having worldwide song contests, and EBU just gave up on ASC, just left it hanging, and don't even care about setting up other contests like Eurovision Asia or Eurovision Latin America, or say, oh, it was the poll tax Jim Crow nonsense, gotta pay. And you know how much I paid when I was voting an American Song Contest? A plum $0.00 per vote, up to 30 per artist. But no, I'm not crazy, I'm not stupid, and my reasoning for not voting, as much as it pains me to do, is different. And it's basically down to, I don't feel comfortable spending my money on Eurovision votes when I don't have income. I have a little bit of money, but no income. You know what I mean? And yeah, you can say all you want. You can say, oh, don't vote, you can't complain. No, I can still complain. You don't get it. It's free speech. This may be a foreign concept to you guys in Europe. Okay, that's a little harsh. I'm sure you know about freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and you had the Declaration of the Rights of Man and of the Citizen in France. But yeah, I can be against a particular way of voting and not be seen as a hypocrite for complaining about how the voting turned out. We do it in America all the time. And hopefully, one day, the EBU will be able to get my hard-earned money when I finally get an income worth just spending $60 in 1 week on Eurovision vote. No, not $60, more like 75 or something. I don't know the exchange rates. Just spend on just voting for songs. Or they could make a Pan-American Song Contest. Either or. With that out of the way, we go on to the interval acts. There was this one interval act involving... There was this one artist from Liverpool, and then this other artist who was Alyosha, known for competing for Ukraine in 2010. There was this song about the Ukrainian diaspora, I think, after the whole thing going on over there. Yeah, it was a sweet song. Then there was Rita Ora. Pardon my Vietnamese, but who the fa is Rita Ora? Okay, I'm kind of kidding with you here. I vaguely know Rita Ora is a big deal over there in the UK. It's a really good song, but it was a cracking performance. Very impressive. And then after that, they closed the voting. Then we got this bit with the automatic qualifiers. I didn't even bother watching that. And we move on to the results. By the way, even though this is all going to be in one video, the first semifinal, all in one video, I'm recording this before I see the results. I decided to pause and take a break and reflect before I would do that, and also, get some sleep. In the meantime, here's the list of how I ranked all the songs in semifinal 1 according to my preferences. Finland and Sweden are in first, and they were really close until Finland just barely made it past, because I think Finland knows what it is a bit more than Sweden does. And then Israel is in a distant third. Then you have the other stuff like Netherlands, Serbia, Czechia, whatever, you go down the list. And, of course, last place is Croatia. I could never, ever forgive that song for even existing. And yeah, you were bound to get one of these songs eventually, even if the system was 100% jury voting. But dang, man, it just really flew in my face on that one. Second from last is Malta, and third from last is Portugal. And now on to the qualifiers. I am kind of pissed. Mostly glad, but kind of pissed. And the first announcement should be a clue. But before we get to that, when the EBU says they're announcing the results in a random order, or no particular order, they're kind of being disingenuous. Yes, they are not at all based on how well they placed in the jury final or the televote or anything like that. No, nothing like that. However, this is a television show, and it's meant for spectacle. So what they will do is, once they get all the results and figure out who the top 10 is, they'll have it ordered in order to balance excitement all the way through. The first song selected is usually the kind of song that would really grab your attention because you kind of shocked that they would qualify. And the very last song is a fan favorite that a lot of people would be rooting for. Not necessarily winner material, but could place top 5 if it really tries. And somewhere in there might be a song that would do really well, if not win. Maybe in 8th position? I don't know. But on to the show. Croatia. They qualified. I mean, it is a god-tier move to just throw this out as the first qualifier and say they qualified, because it's just so batty insane. But dang, nab, that was the song I wanted the least to qualify by a mile. Oh, that one hurt a lot. Then you got some, regular qualifiers. You got Moldova, you got Switzerland, then you got Finland. Okay, solid. Then you move on to Czechia. They're officially Czechia, not Czech Republic. Remember, they are Czechia in informal conversation. And then Israel, 6th. She didn't use 2023 in her lyrics. That was the second biggest mistake she made with her song. But, I'll dwell on that later. 7th up announced was Portugal. To be honest, most everything, my top 14, basically everything in the semifinal, not counting Croatia, they're okay songs, not necessarily drop down to mediocre, and I did like Ai Coração more than Femme Fatale, but only just. That one's gonna hurt in the Morgan, you know what I mean. 8th up was Sweden, because of course. 9th was Serbia, a pleasant surprise to see, and by this time everyone was cheering for Norway to qualify, and Norway qualifying we got. And that basically wrapped up the show. We didn't get the whole qualifiers standing up on stage, basking in their glory, Keith Lee style. If you had brought back the whole standing room in the middle of the arena thing, you should have brought back the whole qualifiers get to celebrate their victory after the announcements, because they were both terminated due to COVID. They should have been both brought back, like one in step with the other. I mean, I kinda get why you wouldn't, but it would make for a bit more. I mean, historically, for 2021-2022, you decide to put the clips of the songs at the end for the end credits. That makes sense. But you decided to go back to the 2019 and before move of having the clips between the announcements and the end credits rolling. It's a half measure, honestly. With that being said, wow, that was a Hawaiian roller coaster of a ride we got through right there. And I guess it's a fair time to close out, prepare myself for the second semifinal, because, oh goodness, if semifinal 2 ends up being the group of death, then I'm just gonna be flipping in my seat. Do the feedback thing. Like, comment, subscribe, or dislike if you didn't understand the whole bit with the water jug was an Atlantis The Lost Empire reference. Now you know. Follow me on Twitter at JERealize. Yes, I still have a Twitter. This has been JERealize. I'll see you next time, and there will be a next time.